Okay. Good evening, everyone. Greetings from Dubai. It's a great opportunity to be doing this meditation. And this is the third or the fourth meditation. Somehow we did not go on fifth meditation, I'm reminded. We didn't somehow go on Facebook Live, but I could probably write posts and share those because a lot of you were asking about when we would be posting those. So join in and stay close. We're going to talk about something really interesting that is so relevant, which is relationships. And relationships not just to ourselves, but spousal and siblings and parents and all others. Because somehow we seem to be at odds. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. There is, it's not that we don't have the tolerance, but we have come to a point in evolution of humanity where we actually first were really joined at the hip. So we thought. There was interdependency, or dependency rather, because of joint family systems, because of financial needs, and so on and so forth. So we needed each other. But now we have choices because people are becoming financially independent, and also the work they're doing on personal growth. This is very interesting, Frans. When we do work on personal growth, it just means I'm working on me. So my mind, my attitude, my behavior, so I'm working on that. Now that will give you a sense of freedom. And the I, so the ego comes up too. The ego gets bigger than life because now I am like this, I do this, this is my nature, I've achieved this, this is what success means to me. So it's about the me. So that has been really predominantly sought after, personal growth. But when we seek the self, it's a whole different ball game. So in the self, we actually go to the deepest level of our own potential, of our own source, our own connection, call it God, call it divinity, or life force, or consciousness. And when we go there, the first thing we experience is the oneness. The first thing you know, whether you like it or not, you are parts of each other. So imagine having this human body and then the liver saying to the kidney that I'm not so sure that I should invite you or talk to you because I generate my own life force and I will see if I like you that day you can come. If I don't like you, I will just make you very absent from my thoughts. So imagine the organs of a body doing that. What happens then? What happens? Your brain cells don't activate. They think they will only work for the brain. So when you go to the human body, you get your cues from the human body. You can see how everything, the entire system, organism is working collectively. It's not possible as an individual organ to function because they're born from each other. They're born of each other, for each other. So I have not understood why when it comes to humanity and life outside, we only see separateness. So first, one of the reasons for meditation is to go within and experience, and what you experience through your organism and then moving past the organism, the conscious experience you have of yourself is your truth. And then that truth should apply outside because outside life mirrors what's inside. But somehow, so what happened? Where is the disconnect then? Why is it when we talk in even religious terms, we talk about children of one God, and do we behave like children of one God? No. We don't even behave for children of one parent, never mind God. Even that is different, right? So part of it is our personal growth. Part is that we've been working for freedom for our personal self for so long. So this was bound to happen. But also now has come the time where we probably need to go within because the chaos obviously is, confusion is getting greater. We are at odds. There's a communication gap. There's a communication gap with the children. Parents really find that they don't know how to deal with them, how to deal with choices. They don't understand why they're making those choices. Children don't understand their parents. So there's a separation to the point where communication breaks down. We are not able to communicate. So not that we hold secrets, but we stop sharing. Can happen to husband and wife, can happen to sisters, can happen to friends, can happen to co-workers. So it's kind of sad that 2018, where humanity should have evolved to much greater degree, we are feeling insecure and trying to save our place in the world. Right? We're trying to save our opinion. We're going to try and make our opinion count, never mind others' opinions. There's no room for others, usually. So also what has happened is that we don't have the ability to listen anymore. What happens when people are talking to you? You're right away thinking of what you will say next. You just heard the first part, and then that triggered what you want to say, because either you have a matching story or you have something else you want to share. It reminded you of something. So you stop listening after a few seconds. And after that, so there's a disconnect instantly. You didn't hear the person. How you respond is according to your memory what you want to say. The other person is doing the same thing. So you could meet somebody for coffee or whatever, and you could actually come back. You went alone, you've come back alone, you really didn't share that much, except something that was not even of value. No communication greater thing happened. Now, everything you want from life, who is going to deliver to you? When we talk about God, we should be talking about humanity, actually. Your money, what you have, your doctors, everything is in the hands of humanity, in the hands of people, in the hands of your very neighbors. There's never an accident. Anybody who's standing next to you or sitting next to you should be sitting there. But do we dare start talking to them? We see them as strangers, right? We'd rather either be on our phones or we'd rather be in our own world and talking on the phone, which actually disconnects us more. On the phone, there's enough research on it that it disconnects you, isolates you more. There's a false sense of feeling that I'm connected. But neither does if you look at Facebook too, if you don't receive Facebook likes, that day is not a good day. Because what happened? My friends are not there. But others also want likes like you do. Others want the same recognition, right? So everybody is just expressing themselves. So which is okay, it's a way, we have a platform, we could use it in meaningful ways, but we don't. So I think it's very important since we see that the gap is increasing, gap between ourselves. So our own inner dialogues, if you look at the nature of the dialogues a person has, he's got a set or she has a set of ambitions and what success means. They're striving for success in the field of health, spirituality, wealth, whatever, wholesome way. But somewhere along the line, the minute the desire comes, there's also the fear comes with it. That will I get it? What will happen if I don't? Right? What are my choices? What will happen? People don't actually consider choices. I'm going to talk about another very interesting phenomena, which we talked about last week, about the phenomena of fear. That as human beings, as humanity, not just a certain culture of beings, we have carried a lot of pain and suffering. And that was Buddha's main message, that remove the suffering. There is suffering except there is suffering. But suffering does not come from you being temporary. It comes from it comes from a mind that feels isolated, that feels scared, that feels paranoid. Who am I? They're not connected to their true identity. So humanity, and this is thousands of years later, we've come and we've evolved, but we still have suffering because people somehow cannot connect to their true identity. They connect to their mind. My nature is this, my personality is this is my net worth, this is how I am, this I am good, I am bad, so and so is this, but they don't. So mental level, They are using their capacity, but they're not going to the spiritual or the core identity that of consciousness. So since we haven't gotten there, since we have had enlightened masters, but somehow maybe we needed more work, so and more diligence, and we have to almost explain to people why should they be meditating. How easy it is now these days for you to take medicine but not to meditate. They come from the both same word, same root, meditation and medicine. But how easy it is to pop a pill of Tylenol and not sit for 2 minutes and fix your entire being, cure your health, right? So that is the brainwashing we've had for whatever reason, right or wrong. This is the current state of affairs. Medication you take to fix something that is ailing. It has broken down in your system. That's all it's going to do. It's going to suppress the symptoms, right? Meditation you do to cure your health, to cure your being. So have you noticed how difficult it is to even tell people to meditate? You have to convince them it's miracle. This is a miracle, you must try it, right? So what happened to humanity where they don't even know what's important and how important they are and why they feel so insignificant on this planet? People are lonely. They are depressed. Signs of depression are, you don't have to be locked in a room trying to kill yourself. It could be extreme frustration. It could be a lack of joy, lack of unhappiness, numbness. It could just be all kinds of physical symptoms too that come from depression. Not being able to act when you should, thinking of many things, doing very little. That's another sign of depression. You can't implement, you can only think, and ideas come, and overthinking again, right? Feeling fear for no reason. You don't know what we are afraid of. We've no idea what we are afraid of. So we say we're afraid of the unknown. But I tell you what, examine this for yourself. You're not afraid of the unknown. You're actually afraid of the situation that is now, the known. You're scared of the unknown. You're running away from the known, right? There's unknown. How could you be scared of something that has not happened? But somewhere when we look at our lives, we don't think it's complete. None of us think our life is what we think it should be. Now, very good reason for not living wholesomely is simply because we're too possessed by pain and trauma inside. It doesn't show on our faces because we dress up, we've got the right makeup, we've also got the right how you should look, how you should behave. We've learnt all those. It's information stored in us. This is a happy face, this is a sad face, this is whatever. So, but the mask can only go on for so long. The mask has gone on for centuries. If we don't break the mask, it will continue. We will die, we'll be born in sadness, in pain and fear, and we will die with pain and fear. So we have aborted the entire mission of this beautiful planet and just being alive. Right? So happiness doesn't come. We think it comes from relationships. We think it comes from things. How can another person make you happy? And how can they make you unhappy? It's a state within you. If you feel complete, then you will respond differently. But inside, if you're masking that, you're unhappy, anything could trigger the irritation. Have you noticed sometimes something very little happens, but you react. Your reaction is way overboard. Where did that happen from? Because you have a lot of stored chaos or stress. Yeah. And any given situation, for instance, not finding a parking lot or somebody just crossing you. How angry you get that how dare you just not give me space, or why are you coming in my space, right? The person doesn't know you, you're on a highway and you're yelling or you're throwing a little tantrum for yourself, Then we say, I'm so stressed, I must do something with me. So, a lot of people find busyness in shopping, in relationships, in alcohol, in drugs, whatever kick that's going on. Oh, TV, another TV. You can watch endlessly mindless TV. Mindless TV for hours and hours and hours. There's enough research out there. When we do that, it numbs our brain cells. Right? It actually numbs your brain cells when you watch TV for that many hours. But we will compromise our brain and be less intelligent, but we will be busy, so we don't have to face the trauma inside, what's brewing inside. So does that happen to you guys, what I've discussed? Yes. At some level, some people experience it more, but some experience it in a smaller way. But throughout life, look at your parents, they had the same symptoms. Their parents, forefathers had the same symptoms. You can go into any generation, any time, any space. Because why are the prophets giving the same message otherwise thousands of years later? Buddha gave it about 3,000 almost years ago. Christ gives it. He tells you to forgive others, to forgive yourself. Why would this phenomenon of forgiveness come if you didn't have a fight inside you? Right? Buddha says suffering, talks about emptying your mind. Every Vedas have it. It doesn't matter. Thousands of years later, we are actually still teaching the same thing. 2018, I may be using different words, but it's the same shit, different pile. Because it's still needed. And the message is still relevant. And then masters come, they in different forms, and they awaken on their different platforms. Try and awaken humanity to being more mindful and purposeful. So, for what good? What will a master take back? They will take back the satisfaction that they awakened so many souls. And those souls will awaken others. Right? Now, another thing is that myth, call it or whatever, people think if they become spiritual, they will have to resign or become passive in their world of business. And maybe they'll start to settle for less. They'll have to settle for less. So they will not have a fight anymore, so they wouldn't be able to achieve what they want. Because somehow we've been told that a wealthy person may not become a spiritual person. That conditioning also exists. Now, what has money got to do with your inner makeup? Nothing. It's the energy force. What has sexuality got to do with it? It's another energy force, creative force, right? But we've got all these stories in our head too. So unless we start to at some point examine them and look at them piece by piece and then say, oh, this belief I don't need. I don't need to tie up my money sense with my morality, right? Rich people, and often I've heard people say, so-and-so he's a crooked, he's a corrupt guy, and look how long he lived and how well he lived. And that person was so good and look, he died. What happened? Right? So that is because of the story we carry, right? So we've got all these stories that actually don't work for us. So not only, sorry, you had a question?
Just a question. So a lot of religious faiths teach, especially for women, that when you are in your periods, you should not do your prayers, and you should not sit somewhere, you should not touch something. How is that related to consciousness and connection with the divine?
So that is very biological. It's nothing to do with spirituality. That gives the human the ability, or the woman the ability, to procreate, to give birth, and have so many different hormones, so she has so many different emotions and strong emotions. So there's a reason why we are the way we are. Now, women not basically going into temples, who decided this? It was mostly men. So the answer would lie there. Who decided all of this?
But is it that at that time you have a different kind of energy and that energy is impure?
How can a human being become impure? Yet you've seen priests, you've seen other people having sex with young girls in the back, doing all those things. So what happens there? So it's not about, as a human being, what is contained within. It's more in the mind. And somewhere along the line, women have been kept. Not too many became prophets, not too many, maybe few saints, some saints, right? How many enlightened women will you find? It's not that they don't have the capacity or the intelligence or the intellectual power, but somehow it was never promoted. Why would you do it? You need to give birth, you need to look after everything. And the men could leave the house while the women looked after their children, and they had the choice to move away. So I want to come to choices. How are choices given? How do we feel there's a choice? In any given time and space, culture dictates what choices you'll have. Now, you can be lesbian, you can be gay, there's legal rights for a lot of things. You can be divorced. At one time, you couldn't. One time, your husband died, woman had to die with him. Sati, in certain parts of the world. So culturally, it changes. And we have been given choices. So did you really have a choice ever? Or were those two choices given and you had to choose from those few choices and you thought you were making choices out of freedom? Another thing is when we are torn apart with this inner pain, when people feel alone, isolated, sad, these are all signs that they haven't connected to their power. That's all it is. It's really simple as that. Now, when you are in that state of mind, you have no choice. Your choices are different. You choose out of need. Coming to relationships, even for marriage, you choose out of need. Because I will need this person has money, or they have the job, they have the intellect. So we are making, marriages are transactions. Now, if you know it's a transaction, then do a good transaction. Do it mindfully. Nobody is stopping you. Make the choice. Do it. But then don't do it under the name of some love or some, don't confuse yourself. So if you want to really look at something, you can make, you want to choose your guides, you want to choose your what education, you have every right to be mindful, examine it, and then choose it. But how will humanity, when they haven't risen with this pain and this isolation or sadness, make the right choices? You don't have the freedom to make the right choices because you cannot see choices. So when we say, that start to meditate, go within, it's not that you need it, yes, but you do. That is your only job on this planet. That's your dharma, to connect within. Because if you don't have the power, how will you ever use it to create your life? So people can't understand, if I meditate, how will my life change? How will my money situation change? My relationship change, which is so bad, abusive husband or whatever, right? So they can't connect, how will it change? So I'll show you how that mechanism works. So when we start to upgrade, when we start to bring in new frequencies, in the no mind state, we are not possessed by thinking, old-fashioned thinking, and always out of need, that needy consciousness. When you start to become empty for a minute or 2 minutes or a few seconds even, there's a gap. And from that gap, you're able to access another level of mind, which is not so stressed, which is not coming from borrowed humanity from before. Yeah. So you are thinking outside the box within the split second gap. The box has broken for a split second, but it broke. Or it opened up. And that's where you will see miracles, and that's where ideas come. So when you start to meditate this, you're thinking, you're accessing a whole different level of mind. Not the stress mind, not the conditioned mind, not the pain, fearful mind. Another level of fresh mind, brand new mind. Now this is truly you. You download that and okay, that's it. So the more you give yourself more energy, you create more space, more gaps for yourself, you actually are able to access a different mind. Now when you get that inspiration, something very interesting again. So there's a difference between information and inspiration. So you know how you'll get a thought that I should call a friend, oh, but then I forgot I should have called. So that is somewhat information or some intuition coming, but it doesn't have the energy where you'll quickly dial the number. It doesn't have that power. It's a low-grade thought. You could delay it, you could abort it, you could actually never do it. See? So this also goes for calling someone, doing something, whatever. Versus, there is something that happens, inspiration, it's a download, a drop into your system, you bounce up like drinking a glass of water, you're thirsty, you just go do it. It will actually physically result. It will come in physical action. This is inspiration. So when we are in the gap, few minutes, few seconds of the gap, we get inspired. All of a sudden, now there's no thinking time. All of a sudden, you will act because there is no other way. You will act. When you start to act, the response will be different. Your response to the same world outside will be different. And all of a sudden, now you respond differently. You've changed almost the course of your destiny. Destiny changes one thought, one action at a time. But a lot of people just resign, this was my karma, and they go into the philosophy, why did I take birth, how can I die, can I change my death? Philosophies are beautiful, stories are lovely, but it's not going to change you right now. Right now you need to understand how the system works, how your system works, right? I'm going to tell you, because you mentioned about, you do the Silva Mind Control. How many people follow the Silva Mind Control?
Read about
Yeah, it was very, very popular. I would say about 80s and 90s. Yeah, and very strong teachers of Silva Mind Control. So I was also one of my friends, and the course was not very cheap in those days. It was a bit expensive, but $600 or something like that. So one of my friends had that in Calgary, and this is 1992. This is before my own awakening. That will you come to this course? I've paid, and I paid for a friend who is not coming. They're not giving a refund. So I said, well, I don't know. She says, no, come. I said, what's it about? It's really interesting. She built it up very high. So I got attracted. I said, let's go. So she kind of paid for that, and I ended up going. And we had a brilliant teacher come from the States. He was an American man, big man, just very beautiful man. So it was 3-day or 2.5 days, something like that course. So towards the end, and what they do is it's quite interesting. It's basically to increase your psychic ability and intuition. So we did the first meditation. They talk about something. They do the exercise. Then you do the first exercise, which is a deeper meditation. You go into your neighbor's house and you can see, is the sofa red? Is the door here? So they test you, right, in this big group. So at third day, this is now the final day. So we've been doing it for 3 days. Now I have been meditating, I didn't know I was meditating, but tuned in for a long time. But the teacher didn't know. So I'm just sitting there with other people. So very interestingly, he says, I'm going to give you a name of a person. And I want you to go to her house and see what you can find. So we were maybe about 100 plus people. It was a big group, yeah. So anyways, all of us did, and then he asked people what they found. So whatever they said. So now it came my turn, and I was really like petrified, and I said, I don't know. I said, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I saw this woman knitting. I saw this woman going for cancer tests, and they said there's no cancer, but I know there is cancer because I saw her 6 weeks later. She's like, I'm describing this whole thing, and he's just shocked and looking at me. And then he said to me, he said, can you tell me more? So I said, well, I've now gone. I didn't know I had this ability because nobody had asked me to do this before. So I said, yeah, I've gone 6 weeks now, and now I've gone, 2 months. So I'm going deeper and looking at what's happening. And then all of a sudden I stopped because I saw him there, the man, with her. And I said, oh my God, are you related to her? He said, she's my wife. So, and he said, she's gone for a test, but they have said it's negative. But I had now blurted out all of this, that the test will be negative, but she has cancer. And so like I could not breathe. I was just like really, because now I had picked up the woman's energy and his anxiety also.
Yeah.
So my heart was palpitating and I was just shaking, and and I said, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. He says, you're feeling this way because I'm feeling this way. You've tuned into me too. And I said, I see you there. Can you tell me? He says, what happens after that? So I said, no. I said, I can't. And then he later asked me he says, please tell me, I need to know. I said, I just saw a dark shade, it was gone. So I didn't realize I could see death. I could actually see people and say, okay, they're going to get sick quickly or death will come, whatever. But anyway, so what he said was, now the whole class was in awe that what happened. And they wanted, because they had seen a blue sofa or a red door and something like that. So the teacher says that, look, he says, I want to make it really clear that you will not get this from Silva Mind Control. Where Ruby went, you may not be able to. Yes, you will get a lot and you must keep practicing. You may one day do it, but this is her past lives. This is her great gift. And that's why it's nothing to do with Silva. What she's saying and how she went back and forth is not. So we became quite good friends after that, and then we were in touch, and the wife did pass away. It didn't take very long. So, but I found all these methodologies, they actually serve you to a certain point, but and at least your attention is inside, yeah. And so you can make yourself feel good. You can make yourself feel more bright. You can make yourself more vibrant. You can make yourself more rich. Many people have used it for success, yeah. But at the same time, it also, it stops at a certain point. And it's not about self-realization. You're busy creating things, so it makes you a good creator. So I would say, and that aspect is very important, but we still need to have the energy force and the wisdom of the cosmos, which is our birthright, to be able to download that and live moment to moment in the present time, because life is a miracle. It's truly a miracle. In relationships, we get many, many challenges. Now, I don't know if you have found out your biggest challenge that will come from the person who probably is there for a good reason. Whether it's marriage, whether it's wealth, whatever it is. So relationships, we can have the biggest challenges come from true soulmates, soul connections. Only an old friend can push you so far. Push you to the seams, break those seams, break your mind, push you into pain, right? They can push you into pain because humanity doesn't wake up unless there's pain. They're pushed into pain. That's when they say, okay, I'm done. I can't tolerate the pain, right? Very few have woken up without the pain. Even Buddha had a lot of pain. Why is this happening? Christ had it. Why is this happening, right? And then they went deeper and deeper. So people who create the most pain in your life are true friends. People who actually are easy and they will support you. They will support you. Who are friends and they are supporters, but they can't change destinies for you. Person who actually is pushing you can, because they'll break you to the point where you will change, right? Your spiritual masters will come. They will be night and day by your side, whose wisdom and power you can access just by their thought or name. That relationship comes from lives. Spiritual masters don't just come in one life. Teacher may, like Silva Mind Control, he may have just come in that. But you're bound. At some point, in some way, sometime in space, he has interacted, knows your soul, he or she will look after you at some point, will appear again. In any form, given form.
They're like people, actual people.
Yeah, they can astral planes also, they can appear very strongly. You already have them. Yeah. Because all of a sudden there's a lot of support. When you do your meditations, this is a key. When you do your meditations, always start with your guide. Take the name of your guide. Always. Or whoever, call upon a guide.
But how do we know who is our spiritual master or guide?
Whoever has taught you about spirituality, who else is there? Whoever. And then if somebody else needs to peer through them, they will come. You've heard of Mahavatar Baba, who's thousands of years old, on astral planes. So he was Yoganand's Kriya Yoga.
Yes.
Kriya Yoga comes from him. The entire Yoganand's guru also was initiated by him.
Yes.
He has been in body, but that astral spiritual body, but takes the body as and when, to initiate the masters in the Kriya Yoga. And then they teach.
Okay.
Yeah. So you always have access. If you're doing a Kriya, that means you have strong lineage for somewhere, not forefathers alone, but strong soul connection to the Kriya Yogis. Yeah. It depends what you choose. You actually have a strong connection there. So it's very important to do your meditations. Whether if it's not, you can actually call for the saint or the sage family, or you can call upon whatever religion you were born into. You can call upon the prophet or the saint. So God, whatever you feel. Anybody who you believe is higher. Yeah. The minute you do that, you will have peace and quiet and access to a whole different world. Very quickly. It's a shortcut.
Before you start the meditation.
Yeah, before you start the meditation. No matter what practice you're doing. Even before going to sleep, you can ask them to help you with your dreams, to awaken you tomorrow to a beautiful day so you can live your full day. There's so much help available to us. This is our relationship with spiritual masters, and we have so much help. I was awakened by, they were not in physical body. There's so many masters who came to help. Aurobindo, Osho, Ramana Maharishi, Buddha, Prophet Muhammad, Jesus. And that's how I knew the wisdom of many. Meher Baba. Many I visited afterwards. After 4 years I went to India and went to their ashrams but it was after. So just to say thank you, for coming and helping me. Yeah. Yeah. But so it's really important to know we're not alone. We actually have a whole resource, of richness.
So one, the earlier point about information, inspiration, and you kind of go into that infinite energy and thereby get inspired. Can that, or through that, can you heal or help relationships get better?
Yes.
Or are they...
Definitely. Anything connected to you, anything connected, any person connected to you, it's like a network, a pipeline. The minute you're plugged in, they start to get oxygen wherever they are. This is just strong knowing. They will automatically get it. If you feel at any given time that there is somebody sick or you want to heal something, then you can actually start to, even when you're meditating, you could invite them as their light body to be in that space, that I'm doing this. It's like prasad. So please come and share with me.
But even relationship can get better.
Yes,
Not
definitely.
the person for
Yeah, definitely.
The relationship can get better.
Yes, definitely get better, or it'll become clear.
Okay. The fate or
Then you can take action, because relationships are very cloudy. We are confused because we think in relationships, especially with spouses, we think that we are now bound for lives. Especially if you're Indian, you'll think 7 lives, which is not such a pleasing thought. But, like those are the things you've signed up. You probably signed up when you did your cultural, you did your, the ritual. You signed up for probably 7 lives. So this is the word you gave. So, in front of the priest.
Hopefully it is the last of the 7.
Yes, but that also, but then again, see, the thing is, at that time you'll have clarity why you're in the relationship and should you be there or not, because choices will appear to you.
that is when you go into meditation. Then you think of the relationship.
Yeah.
And that's when you get
Yeah, because otherwise it's too convoluted, relationships.
Yeah.
You're only blaming. You're blaming from your opinions are different. So that person also is hurting inside. They're insecure, unsafe inside. You're unsafe. And both are fighting to exist, coexist, or make a living or make a place for themselves on this planet. So it's really hard. It's very tough. So you have to be very compassionate. You have to be compassionate towards a hurting soul. If they were awakened, they probably wouldn't be behaving this way. Then it's different. But if they're not awakened, then you can't blame them that they don't know better. Because they are carrying the pain of their forefathers. It's impossible. And the illusion is you feel you're healthy. I'm strong, I can think correctly, I can do this. Why can't I do it? But no, not really. The way you're thinking, you could actually be going down the rabbit hole, right? So, you can first create gaps and space for yourself, and then advise them. And then you can learn to communicate. Another thing is learn to listen without interrupting. Give them space. If you give your relationship space, you just be silent, just listen. The person will become silent too. And right after their silence, you will have a different conversation. Try it. Even with a friend, you're having coffee. You start to talk, listen to them. And when you start to listen, that silence reaches them. And they respond differently with that silence. They'll retract, they'll go back, they'll give you another option. And now you can both have a great conversation, dialogue. So this is a very important tip for you, to be able to just give it space. And if you're itching to say something and you're so angry you want to react, you just go to the breath. Just go to the breath and watch your breath. That breathing is always calm. It's always still. Your body is always calm. This emotion is not, we are highly emotional in the mental states. And the more conditioning we have, the more painful, intense emotions we have, where you lose control, right? So come out of that. Even you can start to do this exercise when you're alone. You can think of something that's harsh or whatever, boss you don't like or somebody else, and then you can actually just become silent. And 1 minute later, either you're not thinking of them because you don't need to. Whatever you were thinking was just overthinking. You didn't need to. And second thing is that you may get the resolve of what to do. Now, this is not magic. This is just science of life. The minute you let go that person, you're not holding them in your system, they'll breathe better. And they'll be far better person than with you holding them. So you know how you become possessed? In India, we would say so-and-so has become possessed by so-and-so's spirit, right? Which says, "Mein bhoot aa gaya," or something like that, a ghost, or, right? Yeah, and then they start to talk like that. So we are doing it all the time by holding people in our mind, whether blaming them, whether addicted to them, whether loving them. We're holding people in our energy system. Now you've lost, either way you're going to lose them probably, because when you hold that and something so tight, it's bound to break. And you've lost yourself too. You don't know, you can't get access to yourself. There's no given time unless you need to think about something that you should be holding thoughts of others. Because you brought them into there's also a direct transference at that time of their condition into yours. If that person is anxious or even pain, you know how it is when you meet somebody with pain, for a while you'll actually carry that pain. You can transfer that physically also. So emotionally you carry. So two people who haven't learned to communicate, dialogue, can create a lot of chaos. And then all of a sudden you're breaking. First thing now, there's no tolerance. It's like, okay, let's cut it off. You and I can't live together. So that's it. So I'm not saying you should be living together. That's your... But make it out of free will, not out of stress mind. Then it works for both of you. You're still friends. Right? Even you fight with someone, you're still a friend. I've never found anybody who was not a friend. I may not like, I may tell them off, but I still have great friendship. That is never taken away because that's just who you are. Because you know it's all connected, the field is connected, right? Liver not talking to the kidney, what does that do? Break down. Okay. Should we do some good meditation now? So are you guys ready? I hope you're enjoying this conversation.
We can invite people for healing in their astral bodies.
Yes.
Like our friends and family.
Yeah, you can. When you are actually connected, your network already is being fed, right? So another thing you can do is you can, if somebody is sick or needs healing, you can ask your guides to deliver that. That way you're not interfering. So it depends. Yeah. Because it's like a doctor healing their own blood. It doesn't work always. So you have to bring in somebody else to do the healing. But it depends on what healing. So what healing are you talking about would be?
For example, my mother has pain in her leg.
Yeah.
So right now.
Okay.
So if I was to do something.
Yeah. I wouldn't go and try and fix her pain on psychic level because it'll actually, you will become the carrier.
Okay.
Yeah. So because there is a karmic situation at times, but you can ask her guides, or you can just, when you're doing the blue miracle, at any given time, you can just imagine that their body is covered with healing light. But you don't go in and fix things. You can just surround them with light. And
Or I can ask her guide to just help her with
yeah, that's good. Because if their guide won't do it, it's not meant to be done right now. Maybe there's something else that needs to be diagnosed, that has not been diagnosed. So it's not, leg pain is not just a leg pain. Sometimes when we interfere right away, and a lot of Reiki masters do that, and it's a hard lesson that you start to fix the situation. So the symptoms get covered. But the real diagnosis is not done then because the person doesn't feel the symptoms, so they will delay their treatment. They don't know something else is going on. It's very important. We had a woman once in Canada, and she was a Reiki master, so when she had so many symptoms of infection, she started to actually, she's asked the entire group to send healing. So the symptoms went away. The symptoms would go away but come back. So they thought there was something wrong. Why is she not taking healing. And then, somehow I said, no, just send her to the hospital. There's more. You must not interfere. You're actually disturbing her by doing this, delaying her treatment. So when she went to the hospital, she was admitted in ICU. Right away, she had severe infection. Had she gone another 2-3 weeks with this, she would have lost, they kept her there for 4 weeks or something in the hospital. Severe kidney infection. So which they were trying to heal. So this is an example that these techniques are, we think they're very good, but just be a bit careful. You should know when to back off. That you will know when you're in the gap. A strong healer will know when not to go in.
Interfere.
Yeah, right? Okay, so what time is it? Can I just please?
8:35.
Oh, okay. So let us do the blue miracle. Yeah. So nice deep breath. At this time, we invite the masters of light, angels, healers, prophets, saints, sages to be present here. For protection, safety, inspiration, let each and every person here experience divine consciousness, their divine self, any which way. For the next 7 moments, don't be hijacked by thoughts. No matter what thought comes, you have the power to say no. So start by visualizing beautiful, blue, vibrant blue light at the base of the spine. This is the light of the masters, the healers. You can feel the tingling at the base of the spine. Shoulders are back, spine is straight. Hands could be on your thighs, open position, open palms. Feel the blue light, experience it, slowly coming up, more and more deeper, up, into the spine, slowly, smoothly. Mid-spine, upper part, between the shoulders, back of the neck. Now focus on the point where the neck and the head meet. Visualize this time the same blue light, but a ball of blue light, rotating clockwise, faster, 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 faster. So feel the sensations of the rotating healing light at the point between the head and the neck. The light goes into the head, left brain, right brain, filling up the entire head, the face, and slowly coming down the entire body. Soon the healing light will be absorbed by every cell, head to toe. You're vibrating in the blue healing light. We will repeat the sound of Om 5 times together. Nice deep breath each time. Focus on the ma. Keep your mouth closed for that. Nicely feeling the vibrations inside. As you repeat the sounds, you imagine this light expanding from you into the space several feet away, projecting from you, making your aura blue farther and farther. Not 5 feet, not 7 feet, not 10 feet, 12 to 15, 20, 30 feet aura. Just imagine there is no work. Focus on your sound will expand your aura and silence. So repeat it loud and clear. Let us do it 2 more times. Great. Experience the silence. Your presence has increased several folds. You'll be able to watch the thoughts coming in. Your choice right now is not to start thinking. Allow the thoughts and feelings to pass. Breathing into the presence. This is the whole you. Consciousness is your true identity. Thoughts and feelings are simply projected from the space you're in at the current time. They change when you change your frequency. You're not dependent on these thoughts and emotions. to deepen your focus for healing purposes. Focus only on the exhale. Just watch the exhale. You will have no thoughts, no mind when you focus on the exhale. Watch the next thought coming in. Think about the thought you're watching. Think about the thought you are watching. And drop the thought. Drop the thought. No mind again. Choose another thought. Think about the thought. Even if you try to feel it, you may not be able to, because it may not be important at this time. Drop the thought. When you build your presence, you are in the moment, in the now. You will have the power to choose the thoughts, to drop the thoughts at your will. You will not become a slave to thinking. Body will remain fresh and active, mind healthy and alert. You become the master of your will and destiny. This is a good time to make a promise to yourself that you will remain centered in the self, you will come to your highest potential, and you will express full potential that needs to in every given moment. No mask, no illusion, no hold up, forever present and alive to all situations. No fear, full power and peace. Visualize yourself as a brand new baby. Hold the baby in your arms. Comfort the baby, making the baby safe. So the baby is not afraid. Watch the baby looking into your eyes, clear heart, clean body, tuned into your eyes, connecting at the deepest level of the soul. Everything and everyone will support this child, this baby, you, to become more of you. Nature, sun, rain, water, all the elements will support this child to develop to its highest potential. The baby grows to 4 years of age, lit up with light, bright, confident, happy, healthy. Then 14 years of age, laughing, healthy, confident, alert, conscious. Then 24, then 34, and now, as you are in this moment. Absolutely safe, indestructible, boundless, forceful, purposeful. Feel how light the body is, how all systems in the body are flowing. Totally aligned body and mind. Full awareness, light as a feather. Come back to the blue healing light. Send this to the children of the world. Let there be no child without a smile. Let the children be fed, loved, protected, be safe. Let the humans take responsibility for the children and guide them into light, into their power. Send this light to all humanity. Let humanity be awakened, enlightened, alert, and conscious. send this light to animal life, plant life, sea life, the entire planet, outside the planet, everywhere in the cosmos. And now watch this light being returned to you several times over. Blue light, many colors of vibrating blue, like musical waves coming into your being, with the blessings of your masters, teachers, forefathers. So take a moment to receive this light in grace and gratitude. Take a nice deep breath, feeling yourself head to toe. And you can rub your hands and then touch yourself head to toe. So to preserve this light, to protect this light and these vibrations and frequency. And you can open your eyes anytime. You won't lose the state of silence and awareness. Okay, how was it?
Very
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Very good.
went deep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially holding yourself like a baby.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah. That's a very powerful
Very good.
technique with the baby. Yeah.
Very
Because our child within is always the child that has the tantrum. When we do, it's not you, but you don't recognize that. It's that unfed child, unsafe child, not feeling protected, safe, that has repulsions and reactions. And so if you heal that child just through quick meditation like that, you feel whole. It's not, you know how you feel otherwise, you've left something behind.
Sure.
How you always
Yes.
feel that you can't access, you don't know what is, and you're yearning to get home because you have left parts and pieces of yourself behind, not acknowledging them. So this meditation brings all of those parts together. Yeah. So any questions, and people out there, please give me questions. If there's any, I'll answer them tonight or tomorrow. You can share this video if you feel compassionate and you would like your friends to enjoy something that you have enjoyed today. But is there anything right now that anything that experience or
Yeah, my eyes are watering again.
watering? So it's
Less than before.
Yeah.
But still watering.
yeah. So it's actually a
I think a release.
physiological
Release.
response to connection. Yeah.
Yeah, my right eye is
Right eye.
watering.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw the flame, and I felt that, that very clear, no thought completely, no thoughtless.
Yes.
very
Yes.
thoughtless.
Yeah, I felt the thoughtlessness today.
Today you felt it? Oh, that's great. Yeah, great. When I would feel the presence of, like many masters, but especially Guru Nanak, because we are born in direct lineage through Guru Nanak, I always have this right eye just keeps shedding tears. You're not crying, but it's just automatic response. Mhm. There's never a time you don't have your support and help. When I would be in pain, because my journey was really alone, I didn't understand people, people didn't understand me. So I always had to pretend to be somebody I was not. So that was eating me up from inside. That mask, those were the dark years and many years, because you haven't found yourself, but you're lost. So those years were hard, and I had many sleepless nights and crying and wailing, and so I asked the master, then one of the masters who was supporting me. I would call him Old Father Time, because he taught me how to go back and forth in time and check anything and everything. So that was taught by him. So I saw him like a grandfather Time, old wise man, which is my imagination. So I said, where are you when I'm so much in pain and I have all these tears, and where are you? And he says, in your tears. So he says, those tears are me. So then because I would say, why don't you appear when I have so much pain? You're there otherwise to talk to me. But where do you go when I have so much pain? So he says, I come as your tears. So after that day, every time I shed tears, I knew that my master was with me. Yeah. So there was never a moment alone. Yeah. So.
There's another beautiful message I know you've seen about footsteps or footprints on sand.
Yes.
It's very, very
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah. It's very profound.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's asking the master that, where were you?
Yeah,
They're
so
only
like
my footprints.
4 footprints.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. And then he says, I became you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are all experiences you will have consciously, because the spiritual masters start to reveal themselves when they can only enter at a certain frequency. Yes, they cannot come at the mental level. So they'll push you through pain to come into that, but they cannot. Before then, the forefathers help you. So if the forefathers are coming in dream and they're coming, that means you need help, because they must help you through that. Yeah. And then these frequencies, this is where they can heal your body, they can bring you a gift of whatever. Eternal life in that moment, of wealth. Some, as per the soul, people are given gifts in these states. Boons, they call them. Blessings, they call them. Mostly.
Spiritual
Yes. And many will come because it is their job to come. If you are in a living body, the spiritual masters have to come to you. They have to support your enlightenment. So it is their duty, it is their dharma, it is their promise that they will appear through, somehow they will appear. They will find you. That's when they say that the master will find when the student will find you and the student is ready. That's why. Because if your search is true, even your pain is real, that I can't take it. Help me, show me another way. Be the way. Or whatever. At that time, they will reveal. And you will get people, you will get support from the physical world very quickly. Yeah.
I've seen that actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, whenever I ask for help,
Yeah.
there are things that
Yeah.
I've seen Baba's presence a lot recently. I mean, since childhood, but past few months, I have felt his presence extremely strong. I feel he's there. I say something and he guides me
Yeah.
to the right path. I mean, these past few months, it's been the strongest that I have ever felt. His presence all around and actually helping me. And,
Yeah.
making
So you can
things-
take the leap in whatever you want to do.
For me, Ruby,
Yeah.
when I met you and when I started doing meditation, that was an answer to my prayer, because I have been asking to know something, to access something, and though I knew you even before, and then but it's when you taught me the Dharan Kriya, that's when I started my inner journey.
Yes.
So for me,
I'm just going to close this, and then we can talk about her. Yeah. So everyone here, thank you for coming, and people out there, thank you for joining in. Again, please, we may go live more than once, maybe tomorrow also. There's opportunity. I'll let you know. And meantime, take care of yourselves. Remain in peace and remain in the gap, in the now. That's the best blessing and best desire to have. So see you soon.